After the most recent chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen, the strongest sorcerer Satoru Gojo has been released from the box, and the debate for the strongest is yet again sparked in the community. And while many fans have been speculating heavily on who's stronger between Gojo and Sukuna, especially considering Sukuna's recently shown mastery over new techniques, this time around we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. In this video, I'll be going over why the 10 Shadows curse technique not only rivals Limitless, but in some cases can even outmatch it. Subscribe for more content. Let's first dive into what made someone like Sukuna want to obtain the 10 Shadows technique over 200 chapters ago, starting in chapter 9. During Megami's fight with One Finger Sukuna questions Megami on why he ran away from the finger barrier a few chapters prior, because even in the brief amount of time that Sukuna has had to face off against the 10 Shadows technique, Sukuna has already realized its most important characteristic, its adaptability. I think the perfect example of this is Megami's fight with Reiji in Tokyo Colony No. 1. Whether it was hiding in shadows, moving to a different location, or simply just using the 10 Shadows in a creative way. We see even when starting to fight at a disadvantage and already being hurt, Megami was able to outsmart and peck up Reiji with adaptability alone. To give you a bit of contrast, most of the curse techniques in the series have one function or follow a set of rules to maximize their effectiveness. The thing that sets the 10 Shadows apart is by far the way it circumvents these restrictions with its overwhelming utility. While having offensive Shikigami like Divine Dogs, Max Elephant, and Piercing Bull to help accumulate extensive amounts of damage, the user can also use defensive and utility-based Shikigami like Rabbit, Escape, Nu, and Tranquil Deer for healing and boosting mobility in battle. In chapters 216 and 218 of the manga, during Sukuna's battle with the Yorozu, instead of opting for hand-to-hand combat, Sukuna chose to go for a more defensive-based fighting style. Not only was this able to hold back and even overpower Yorozu, someone stated to be one of the strongest sorcerers of the Heian era, but it also worked to fill the conditions belonging to our next point of discussion, Divine General Mahoraga. The 10 Shadows is his final age Shikigami, capable of analyzing and resisting enemy attacks. To give you an idea of the strength of this absolute powerhouse that is Mahoraga, before Sukuna was able to take over Megami's body, according to the official fanbook, it stated, "This is a Shikigami that has not been subdued yet by any past 10 Shadows users," meaning Mahoraga is so powerful that Sukuna, the literal king of curses, is the only character in the entire series that's been able to fully control and handle Mahoraga. Much like the other Shikigami have their own techniques and utility, the same applies to Mahoraga, except where the other 9 Shikigami can be combined and used strategically depending on the circumstances, Mahoraga is only to be used independently. Mahoraga's technique uses the Dharma wheel fixed on its back to adapt to any and all phenomena, much like a late throw in rock paper scissors as Sukuna puts it. However, this isn't the only reason why this competes with the Limitless. Not only can a 10 Shadows user hypothetically have 10 different Shikigami fighting alongside them, including Mahoraga, but if the user decides to, they can opt to not use Mahoraga, and instead, the user gets the Dharma wheel as seen in chapter 216, meaning unlike most, if not every other curse technique in the series, 10 Shadows can bypass the Limitless given the right circumstances. This is big when comparing the two curse techniques because as most of us that read the series know, the best thing about Limitless comes from its insanely high defense. But with Mahoraga and more importantly the Dharma wheel, a Limitless user is going to have to be a lot more careful when it comes to them planning their attack. I think it's important to clear up a slight misconception some fans may have about the Limitless, and as most of you may already know, what I'm referring to is the 6 eyes. A lot of people seem to think that if you have the Limitless, you just automatically have the 6 eyes, but that's not exactly true. The official fanbook states, the 6 eyes, a peculiarity of the Gojo clan, which allows them to see through a target's cursed technique and detect cursed energy. It's a rare characteristic even among the generations of the clan, but it allows for the precise manipulation of cursed energy. It's a natural talent that is indispensable in order to use the Limitless technique to its fullest. This is further illustrated in chapter 140 of the manga, in Yuta's short battle with Yuji. He explains that since Gojo has the 6 eyes, he practically can't run out of cursed energy as he loses almost none when using the cursed technique. What this implies is that although Gojo is said to be a prodigy in his own right, what really allows Gojo to use the Limitless to the extent that he does is due to the 6 eyes. This idea is foreshadowed in chapter 117. Gojo tells Megami that there was a point in time when the 10 Shadows user and the Limitless and 6 eyes user killed each other in battle. And I think a lot of people may assume the same as Megami, and it may have truth to it, but I believe the reason Gojo said this was to highlight the fact that they were comparable to each other, because the way I see it, Gojo wouldn't tell Megami something that he's already tried to actively turn Megami away from, that being Megami's sacrificial habit of summoning an untamed Mahoraga to unleash on his opponent. So given the fact that we already know that Gojo wants to build a strong new generation, it makes a lot more sense for Gojo to actually just be encouraging Megami. That being said, the combination of the 6 eyes and the Limitless technique is incredibly powerful. Despite the 10 Shadows being able to bypass it, or more specifically, be bypassed by Mahoraga, the fact that the Limitless allows you to teleport, use blue, red, and purple, all without barely expending any cursed energy, is extremely broken. Even if the 10 Shadows technique has its own advantages, such as being able to hide in shadows or use them as personal inventories, as Megami demonstrated in the series, cursed energy reserves start to become a problem the longer the fight continues. In my opinion, the 10 Shadows technique is clearly on par with the Limitless, particularly at a base level. I mean, why else would someone as notorious as Sukuna be interested in this technique? So all things considered, I think it's safe to say that the 10 Shadows technique is definitely worth some serious consideration. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below what you think of this matchup, and if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and drop a like. Little disclaimer, I know I didn't go over domain expansions, so let me explain why. Domain expansions are a combination of a sorcerer's own innate domain and their curse technique. So theoretically speaking, even if two sorcerers had the same curse technique, that wouldn't necessarily mean that their domain expansions would behave the same. Just a little something I thought I should point out. So yeah, peace.